Hello, everybody. We're following up on our webinar on the latest 2023 research on dyslexia by Dr. Martha Burns. So we want to see in this presentation how we can use this research in a practical way at home. So there are three areas we've chosen to focus on. And as a reminder, it's number one, the essential foundation stone your child needs to be a good reader. Number two, the skill your child has to have in order to process information well. And three, how to ease the pain of learning to read for your child using these resources. So dyslexia without intervention. It's often thought that children may grow out of dyslexia or compensatory strategies may make up for their reading challenges, but the research tells us something different. It shows that the gap just increases for poor readers between them and the proficient readers as they go through school and as they go into their teens. Why? It's very simple, because the good readers just can process information and get stuff done faster and move on to more complex material, while the poor readers struggle to process that information and can't access the same amount as the others. We know a bit about this, reading and learning. Over the last 20 years, we've worked successfully with thousands of parents and their children. And recently, our programs won the Homeschooling Award for Best Resources and Curriculum. So how does dyslexia affect your child? Are they frustrated because they can't read like their friends? Are they suffering from lack of confidence? Is this converting into poor self-esteem? Are they embarrassed to read in front of their friends in school? It can be a very tough time for your child as they face up to the challenges of reading. But there's good news. And the good news is that training of teachers, research, and technology has all improved and can ensure your child is a fluent and confident reader, and you can help them at home. But first, let's acknowledge the problems some people have. As John Steinbeck said, some people there are who, being grown, forget the horrible task of learning to read. It is perhaps the single greatest effort that the human undertakes, and he must do it as a child. And the reading brain has many moving parts. Reading is an invented system. It is not a natural act for the brain. It is a system the brain must master. Once the brain recognizes the print, the cognitive skills then start their performance, beginning with the act of decoding. Once the letters of the text are identified and matched with their appropriate phonemes or sounds of English, the data passes to word memory. At this point, the brain is deciding, does this text have any meaning for me? Is it in my mental dictionary? Is it part of my mental vocabulary? If it is, then comprehension can take place. But if it's not in the words, speaking, hearing, vocabulary, then the word holds no meaning for the student. And this is why language experience and acquisition of vocabulary is so important. So we start here with the three letters CAT. It's a text. We must visually process it, phonologically process it for the sounds, decode it to get it together coherently, have it in our short-term memory, all at a reasonably quick processing rate. We've identified the word memory means something to us, and we've now got text comprehension. All of this must happen quickly and automatically. It's not just about phonics, but these are more complex skills that we need in order for a student to read efficiently without thinking, without stopping. And the role of language is that it's the foundation of reading. It all starts here. The learning timeline starts with listening, followed by listening comprehension, speech, storytelling, reading comprehension, writing, and learning. Again, reading is an invented system. It's not a natural act for the brain. It's a system the brain must master. but it's absolutely essential for our children to be able to learn and reach their potential. So reading, learning, listening in class, the child must be able to process information quickly in order to take in everything the teacher is saying. When chatting with a group of friends, she has to try to process what one person is saying, then try to process what the next person is saying, and then the next, while also trying to put together and process what it is she might like to say herself. So she needs processing speed, accuracy, listening accuracy, precise sound discrimination so they understand what's being said, not mix up things. And we have problems in English sometimes catching those slender consonants at the start and end of words, phonic words like sink, think, sin, thin, dodo. So the child needs to be able to discriminate these words, to be able to pick up what exactly the teacher is saying, what their friend is saying, and also to be able to represent these letters on the page with the sounds that are relevant to them. There are 5 pillars of literacy. As I mentioned, phonemic awareness, which is that individual sound that makes the difference to the word. Phonics, phonological fluency, or being able to put together the puzzle of those sounds and phonics, building it up to fluency, bringing in new vocabulary, and being able to comprehend. And as you'll see, there are 4 key things underneath that: memory, attention, processing, and sequencing. And these are pillars of learning, 5 pillars of learning. Memory is very important, as you know. If you're reading something, to keep it in your head and answer the question. Multiple choice questions, particularly important, that a child can read and not have to go back and reread, so that they can do things efficiently. Oftentimes, children who do poorly in multiple choice tests is not because they don't have the information, it's because they're not able to answer the same number of questions as a proficient reader, and therefore they can't get the same number of points. So memory, attention, processing, sequencing are vital. Also executive function, although we might leave that for another day. But these executive function skills are about underlying the capacity to plan ahead, meet goals, display self-control, for example, inhibition behavior, follow multiple step instructions, even when interrupted, and stay focused despite distractions, amongst other things. One of our programs was reviewed recently not recently, this is a well-established and well-renowned book, The Brain That Changes Itself, Norman Deutsch, but he refers in chapter 3 to one of our programs, Fast Forward, and he says, no doubt it, Fast Forward, is responsible for so many general improvements in thinking. So you've got 6 steps to reading proficiency that blend these together: cognitive skills, phonological awareness, processing, attention, language skills, going on to reading fluency, going on to language structure. Structure meaning getting words in the right order. Man bites dog, dog bites man. It's the same thing. In some languages, the word order doesn't matter, but in English it does very much matter. Vocabulary, spelling, reading comprehension, knowledge, bringing in your life experience and content, and really with metacognition and those high-level comprehension skills of inference, deduction, rationalization, etc. And it goes beyond the classroom. It goes beyond reading. Here's what one father said to us about his son who was participating in the program. As a result of the program, his concentration level has increased, and this has resulted in better comprehension, doing better in school, and coping with social situations in a much improved and appropriate fashion. As you can tell, we will be renewing our involvement in the program, and the only regret is that we did not know about it earlier. Okay, a little bit of an ad, but you get the idea of how these skills have a meaningful impact in a child's life. By the way, we're rated #1 for language development in the US government's independent What Works Clearinghouse. And the third thing I want to talk to you about after the foundation stone of language, that was learning skills, including memory. I'm going to talk about technology. Why is technology important? Is it gone beyond the style of games? Does it have more impact than that? And the answer is a clear yes. And it's been proven in research. In Stanislaus Dehaene's book, Reading and the Brain, which is a classic of it, he talks about one of our programs, intensive computerized intervention can partially restore a normal pattern of brain activity in dyslexic children. So it's shown up in university research, in school studies, government programs. These type of learning programs are best when you start to combine the skill of reading with improving a child's learning. So, what are the 4 keys to efficient, effective learning? So we talk about children become self-learners, we talk about learning styles, etc. But there are 4 things. One is they need to be motivated. Computers help a lot with that. But they need that motivation quickly, instant feedback, telling them that they're right or wrong, keeping them on track. They may get rewards, points, best score, screen changes, etc. The novelty of it keeps them interested in it. Simultaneously develop cognitive skills or learning skills like paying attention, staying focused, with language and reading skills. Making sure the program adapts to those students so they don't start off at a too high level or too low level, or if they make mistakes, that the software can adjust to them. For example, if they get 3 wrong in a row, it would drop them a level. Or if the algorithm is saying, look, they're getting a lot of things right here, we don't need to repeat and bore them, we move them onto another level automatically using the AI and the technology. We use frequency and intensity. You know, if you think about trying to get fit, there's no point in going to the gym just once a month or even once a week. You need to go frequently, 2 or 3 times a week. It's the same with reading. It's the same with learning. The intensity, to build up the intensity, there's no point in staying at the same level. You need to keep moving on, challenging. We use a metric of 80-20, so 20% new material, novelty, to maintain the interest of the child because we know they crave new learning. But also, we know that knowledge is not mastery. So they have to have a very good automaticity, or like your mental times tables, that you can say it quickly, read it quickly. So it's very important that these 4 features are within learning programs. And the technology allows us to build skills. It's a very simple one. You could lay it out on a table. You could tell a child, touch yellow, touch the yellow square. It could be just one element on the table. But we can build it up, touch the yellow square and the red square. So there's 4 characteristics, 4 elements. You could say, touch the small red square if there were smaller squares here, and the large red square. You could put in things like, instead of touching the large red square, move the small white square next to the big yellow circle. So we're now getting them to tune in, engage, listen accurately, keep it in their working memory, understand what's been said, colors, shapes, sizes, and instructions, sequence it right, first do this, then do this, and carry out the instruction at a reasonable speed. You don't start them off at a very high level, but build them up. Like skill building in sports or any other thing, you build up slowly, get the foundations right, like playing the piano, and you build it up. Teacher in Birmingham in the UK, Moseley Academy, English language learning specialist Luba says, it's an excellent resource, fast forward, for both in-class and remote instruction. So it allows teachers to be able to help the children practice and get that vital level of tutoring at home as well as in class, and be able to follow up the type of work that they're doing at home and see their progress and adjust their program accordingly. It's a games-like interaction, as I mentioned, best points, scores, good graphics, bright, these are for younger children. So it can motivate your child. They get random rewards. They get a personalized learning journey. So it's for them only. It's not for any other child, because we can read with the data what exactly your needs are for your child. And between that and consultation and teacher review, the child gets a thorough blended learning experience. In this case, the question is about superlatives, comparatives, and it says, not everyone can be the something at everything. So it can be the best, bad, good, better. So not everyone can be the best at everything. Simple, easy task on the computer with a mouse, nothing fancy, sophisticated, and they can get hundreds of these trials, building up their skills and building up their speed. And we develop these programs and use higher, more complex materials for teenagers, even for adults in this case here. And this is for visual analysis, so seeing a picture, asking questions about it, sentence building skills, high level comprehension. In this case, it's about artworks. We can drill them on sounds, similar word type sounds. So which is zip, which is sip, zip, sip. Or they might just get wake, and they have to identify which of the four pictures is relevant to wake, wake or ache. So we're getting them to discriminate against phonic words, minimal pairs as well, and we can see what's happening because all the information is tracked and we can look at it and build up a profile of your child. Here's another one to do with grammar, structure, comprehension. They are pulling the wagon, the boy is pulling the girl, the dog is pulling the boy. So which is which? They are pulling the wagon here. The girl is pulling the boy here. So they'll get one screenshot at a time, and they'll get four screenshots, and they get one sentence, and we work around this, and we get them to discriminate, pay attention, and comprehend. There's another one that has to do with prepositions. The book that is not on the table is red. So which one of the pictures is this? Or the book that is not on the table is blue. That's another question that could be asked. Again, they have to study it. It sounds simple, but they have to study, get the prepositions right, sequencing right, keep it in their working memory, carry it out. Building vocabulary, two different words, two different ways of saying comparatives here. Which one is more skinny? Which one is skinnier? So they'll only get this in the first sentence on one screenshot, which one is more skinny, and then later on they may get another one, which one is skinnier. And then we'll show them if they get it wrong what's correct so that they can self-learn and become independent learners. And the technology empowers parents. We track the students so you can see what your child is doing. Are they skipping exercises? Are they missing out on things? Because we know participation is key, and attendance. 5 days a week, participating right through it, how many tasks they do, so we can see the level of intensity, how many days they've done it for, what their progress is, what specific errors. In this case, we're tracking errors for fast resolution with the child, maybe in a separate session, and reducing their frustration accordingly. So they may get screenshots with these cup, cud, cup, cub, cut. Very similar, ending changes. You really have to tune into it to figure out what that word is. And if a child has a difficulty with that, it can translate also, not just with their listening accuracy, but into the representation on the page, and their reading. We send out weekly reports to motivate your child and the parents so they can see how they've been doing. Are they on target? Are they attending, participating by exercise? Did they meet their goals? And we have lots of reviews of the program. Here's one from Sally Shaywitz. She's a specialist in dyslexia in the States. She talks about clear fluency. She says it's an exciting new program, strongly recommended, repeated oral reading is the number one priority. It requires little time and minimum expertise, and it invariably works. Clear Fluency is a very easy AI-driven reading assistant. The child previews it, reads it silently, can click to hear a word pronounced. There's a vocabulary builder there, glossary, highlights, summaries. Then they practice at home, they read and record it, and it will correct them as they're reading and the pronunciation. We can scale this up or down as they get more proficient, and they can hear specimen recordings and listen to themselves reading. Reading out loud is superb in terms of building up reading skills. They take a quiz at the end so that they can comprehend it. We know they've comprehended it, and we can see their progress, and they can make selections from hundreds of reading selections in our library. We do have a new course starting. We're going to close the enrollment pretty soon. You're very welcome to contact us. We'll give you all the details, answer your questions, give you access to more material if you need it. We want you to see how you can use it in a practical way. Take advantage now. We're just after the midterm. You've got the midterm reports, so you're beginning to understand what needs and challenges your child has. We do give a 15-day guarantee. No questions asked, just tell us. For whatever reason, it doesn't matter, we'll refund you your money. So contact us at this address, admin@neuronlearning.com, and we'll be very happy to look after you. Take care.